Hey all, how about a quick lesson? And it will be quick because this is a pretty simple one, but this would be a version that you might do like at open mic without a keyboard player, without an organ. Or if you want to do like that, Chris Cornell arrangement. If you haven't heard his cover, look it up on YouTube. He did a great version of it. But just a solo, he did it. That's this arrangement. You're in D. Ideally you'd have a 12, but if not, a 6 will do. And it starts with now, if you listen to the live versions, even up to when Page and Plant were doing it, the album one starts with the suspension. So it starts with that. The live ones, he would start without it. Versus the album one, which goes. It's a slight little subtle difference, but it is different the way he would do it live. But this is kind of the album way of doing it. So you start with a D, but suspend on the 3rd fret on the high E. Regular D, and then off on the high E. Very typical suspend and then off on the high E on a D chord. That's all over the place in pop music. You'll recognize that. Now you're going to keep the B at the 3rd and the high E at the 2nd. Those two are going to be covered throughout this little sequence. That walk down thing. But you're going to have to finger them with different fingers. You have to change the fingering as you do them. So a regular D. Now your middle finger is going to have to go down and cover that A at the 3rd fret for a C note. But you still want to have the high E at 2. So you got to move. So now your pointer finger is down there at 2 on the high E. The next one, you're going back to where you were with those two fingers on the original D chord, because now your pointer finger is at the 2nd fret on the A string. So. Don't do that. Be careful and make sure you're hitting the A string and not the low E. So this is where the guitar would drop out and the keyboard, the organ would come in. But of course, if you're doing it like without that, you just got to keep going. So you'd be at. Vocal starts, you can just keep going. So that's just the same chord. Today my world is mine, whatever that is. Just do A at the 3rd fret, B at the 3rd fret, and you can still do, or the high E can go off completely, it can go 2 or it can go 3. So mountains crumble to the sea. I'd probably do it without. And on the last one is just a G chord. It's just going. It's the age-old, D, C, G. It's Sweet Home Alabama. Even Zeppelin used it in Your Time's Gonna Come. It's the same. They've done it over and over again. D to C. That's just a G. But the main thing is you want to walk down the A string. You don't need too much of the low E in there. But with the B string at 3 or without it. you want to have the high E at 3 for your G chord. Kind woman, right? B minor. Good inspiration, what you are. E to me. Inspiration, and then E A. Little drops of rain. That's a C. Drops of rain. To G. Whisper of the pain. Tears of love deep in the days gone by. Our love is strong, C. G. There is no walk together. Echo until we die, right? Happiness, be mine no more, be sad. Happiness, I'm glad. And then, you know, again, if you're doing it as a bar arrangement, you probably go back to the last verse here. Whatever finger picking and that you want to come up with, but those are the chord shapes that you're going to want for that verse part. And from there, it's just the same chords. There's no left turn that it takes or anything like that. So I think with those chords, it's really just D, this C, this G, a B minor, E, A. Those are all the chords in it. Good luck.